Hello and welcome here on my channel at commaikEnglish to another video from the lawn irrigation project series. This video is a small addendum to a larger project where I expanded from 3 zones to a total of 6. I have created sprinkler zones here. Then I have this at the back. I have newly installed a lawn sprinkler, separated one zone, and in this video I would like to briefly and concisely show you how to turn a 2-zone irrigation system that is practical here behind 2 zones here, where that is one a little raised, it goes along the pipe. Here I will install additional sprinkler. That means removing the grass sod and tying it back. Then adjust, try, finish. Have fun with it and stay tuned. In the previous video I already showed you how I created this one zone that has supplied this entire area here with a total of 4 sprinklers. How I divided it into 2 zones, that is how I separated one zone. I have combined the whole system with the new valve control. Also the new valve box that now supplies the lower area, and this video now serves to separate this zone, which currently only has 2 sprinklers. Operates, here it is, once here and once there, exactly at the corner. Sunken this zone is now to be expanded with a 3rd sprinkler that will come here where he has this little plastic. Look carefully at this wooden stake, and the sprinkler itself waters exactly up to this point. White decorative stones should be semicircular to the sprinkler, and on the other side up to this sprinkler you can see this little white cap. This is the hunter adjustment key. It should go up to there. I have already measured the entire area with a tension cord. Adjust the distance I have when the system is running, then a total of double to triple over irrigation of the entire area. This means that practically every point will be covered by at least 2 sprinklers. Partially even from 3 sprinklers. I will first take care of the grass edge here. I took the very precaution of not even carefully removing the cable from my lawnmower robot. I reconnected that at the connection here in the front, quickly chopped up because I had buried it deep in the ground. I have just pulled this out here and will now comfortably I will remove grass layer to expose the water pipe, then prepare the hunter pop-up sprinkler and integrate it into the existing system. Integrate before I install the pop-up sprinkler. Of course, I first need to assemble this together in advance, or the inlet to the pipe. For this I use, so this is now the I-20 pop-up sprinkler from Hunter. This is the swing joint, this is the flexible one. The connector means that a certain flexibility is provided, each 3-4 inch. The external thread of the pop-up sprinkler has a 3-4 inch internal thread that fits then exactly, and because I simply tapped into an existing line in the middle, I simply and effectively use a T-piece in this case. Taken from Gardena, that means here are these quick connectors installed, and here also a 3-4 inch internal thread, which means all 3 are screwed together. The whole thing has to be done here in this case. Must be sealed because there are no O-rings or similar items present here, but no problem, you can easily do it yourself. I will carefully and precisely add a new nozzle here in this Hunter pop-up sprinkler in advance, and efficiently and effectively. Insert, I have already shown that in the last videos. This could also be done in the current system if everything is already. I want to do that in advance for my case. There is the possibility through this adjustment key, but I cannot emphasize how important this key is to drive in up here, to turn these openings around and then just take the thing out. But there is a huge spring on it, and there is really tension on it. You can feel it. It works, but in my opinion you really need 3 hands to work with it meaningfully. That's why I decided to attach this sprinkler head to itself. Then you can easily just put it on. Place the table with your hand, press down like this now, and it comes then comfortably to the opening where the nozzle is supposed to be attached later. I simply find it better to just use it. Now decided to also use a short radius nozzle here. These are with Hunter, the black nozzles in this case. I will now simply try the 2.0. According to the description, this should fit best. Alternatively, if there isn't enough coming out, I still have a 3.0 left. Then you could switch again later. I will do one now. I press this can. Now come down here and simply insert the nozzle. It is rounded at the bottom and straight at the top. This can only be installed in this one direction. Just set them in now. Press them just a little bit more closer together, and then you'll see that it's actually already in. It's really not much more than that, and to make sure it all holds, I'm just going to take now this adjustment key, and then here at the nozzle you can insert it here. You notice when you take this Allen key that at some point I'm gently and carefully pressing this against my stomach now, and then you can hear when you screw here, this little one will come out. Unscrew the part that will later adjust the spray pattern, specifically the height. Will be set up at the same time. It also holds the nozzle firmly that it doesn't fly away, and then I already have the part equipped with a new nozzle. It will now be easily screwed back together and then inserted into the ground carefully and precisely and with precision. After that, I will now take the 2 threads that I now have to seal this swing joint accordingly. I use gains from dense thread for that, which in my opinion simply has the advantage is that when I screw it in, basically the screw, now I will insert the thread inside the socket and then make a turn to ensure that the threaded connection remains tight. Based on my experience with Teflon tape and similar materials, it is such that when simply tightening it certainly holds, but as soon as I dial the whole thing back, the Teflon tape becomes leaky very quickly and I have to take everything apart again, which can't be the point of the matter. Is at least with the Teflon tape, which it, generally speaking, there is this 50 pfennig bargain offer, which is the one side the whole thing again on the other. Surely there are experienced and knowledgeable professionals among you who might be wondering, with a sense of curiosity and perhaps a bit of skepticism, what exactly is he attempting to accomplish with his actions and intentions? For nonsense like how he wraps the tape up, that's way too much, that's way too a little, that is way too wrong. If you have constructive criticism, ideas or suggestions, or even more suggestions, if you have any questions or topics, feel free to write them in the comments below. I look forward to it. I'll get to it as soon as I have time. You'll get it too. Immediately a response and continue in the program I have here now. Wrapped with utmost care at the bottom of the opening, the whole thing is now simply and securely screwed in with precision and precision. It goes relatively deep until just before the stop, indeed, I must say. But as I often explain in other videos, it usually comes off quite firmly. One should not overdo it either. That was the first. At this point in the process, we observe the initiation of the second stroke, which is a crucial step that occurs precisely at the T-piece junction located here. This particular stroke is essential for the overall operation as it ensures the proper alignment and functionality of the system. The T-piece serves as, I already know that I have to go away at an angle of about 90 degrees and now it looks, but the whole thing is also a bit skewed, so I need to take another look at it. Calm down, I have just now started over here again. That was indeed screwed in at an angle. This is a plastic thread, which means that when you then, if you start at a slight angle, it still goes in without much resistance. With a metal thread, I find, at least in my experience, it is somewhat nicer. Then it quickly becomes clear that you soon realize, attention, stop, you are, here it's slanted, but ultimately what do I want to complain about others for? That was my mistake. Now I have set it up like this. And in the next step, I will go outside again and do the whole thing and bring in the soil. The hole is already so far finished. You will see it shortly. As I just announced in my workshop, I have the hole now. It's already done. You can see here that I have chipped away the concrete again. The border I had installed, I have here the pipe generously cleared, set that it can be integrated without any issues. I will now Next, we need to very carefully and precisely fit everything perfectly in place, which essentially means it will go underneath right here. That the sprinkler itself, meaning the upper edge with the grass surface is flush. It is important here that it still, overall it works out, but that fits then, and that's already quite good. I'm just going to change the perspective from the camera so that I can take you directly with me for the installation. So the entire system is to be set up in such a way that it is practically installed like this. This whole thing sits here at a height, and this here. It is important to note that when it comes to the angle, it should be connected beforehand. When properly adjusted, everything will then come approximately here, and I will mark it for myself. Now, first of all, the places where I will cut the pipe in this Gardena. The system really goes all the way to the end of this pipe. Conical axis, that means you mark these spots here on the pipe should then appear in appearance something like this, and the whole thing can then simply, in its entirety, will be cut. In this case, I still simply use now my garden shears. That was clever of me. I just wanted to wipe off the dirt. So let's go back and do that again. Yes, as I said, I just absolutely use the garden shears for that. They are completely sufficient for you. But you can also feel free to get a special pair of scissors if you really work a lot. So there are proper pipe cutters available for purchase. But for the few meters that I am laying here, it just isn't worth it. And as long as the garden shears works, I just have a fear that I keep wiping it because dirt keeps falling in here. Then I have already detached the whole system. It was intact until recently. In operation, that's why there's still water on it. I'm now working on the pipes. Just clean it a little bit more. And then this Gardena branch can already
as you can clearly see, be installed. You have here a half turn to easily open it. Subsequently, in fact, the pipe becomes practical. It is pushed to the stop, and when you have the stop, really tighten it up again. You have seen it. There is definitely more to come. 2 centimeters the pipe that you push further in. I can do it this way. And now the other side is coming. I need to turn around now. And here also deep in the pipe is now slightly bent, but it has to withstand. The whole thing is now being completely and securely tightened. I will check this for leaks now. What is noticeable here with the pipe is, as soon as you have wet hands, it gets slippery as hell. Then I take always paper towel to have the necessary grip somewhere. The whole thing now here at the height it should come. That means I turn it. I'll adjust everything a bit more, I'll align it calmly now, and as soon as I have it installed, have you all joined us live again? So I have done the whole thing again with help from kitchen rolls again. I have pushed it in strongly as well. A little turned so that I have enough play here, and the system is already with water refilled due to the fact that the 3 sprinklers at the moment. So it's turned off, so no water is coming through. You can just see the heads up, and the sprinkler will then stay right where it is. I'm doing this now simply to test whether my connection works. What I have laid here now is definitely tight, but that looks right. Good. It doesn't drip anywhere, no water is coming out anywhere, which means I will now in the next step, add some soil here and restore the pressure first. Drain then the sprinkler align to the correct height and fill the lower area with soil to ensure to get a rough idea. The sprinkler is aligned, so I have it now. I have pressed it nicely and firmly into the ground all around now. I have already unscrewed this top loosely so I can do it. Now I simply want to point out something to you again, namely, you can now use these individual openings up here. On one hand, you can adjust the water flow, you can also adjust how far should this sprinkler turn and how much should it cover. A maximum of 360 degrees is possible. It is important to note the stop towards the right. This side is fixed in this case. You cannot change it. You can adjust the stop to the left. You can rotate it up to 360 degrees. Increase, that is, during installation it must be somewhere. It should already be noted that the right stop points there and that you can see up here at this arrow that this stop is just somewhere there. That this stop clearly points to where it is clearly indicating belongs to get it right here, right now. You turn this one. The top is rotatable. You can also hear this clicking sound. I'll do one thing. Dry this with kitchen paper. It's all very muddy and slimy. You turn it all the way to the left at first until if it doesn't go any further, it will lock in, and then you can use the turn all the way to the right again, and then you have your right stop. So, once again slowly, I am now turning to the left. You can hear this little click, I complain. I turn all the way to the right until it clicks again. Then I take the sprinkler with this arrow marking to the right stop, here, and place it in such a way that this marking here points to where, later on, it should be my right stop. That fits very well in that moment. That through this gear at the bottom, you also engage it, which means I turn it. Now everything is secure, as you can clearly see. I also have the height here. When I think about it now, this is a height with the grass sod that the lawnmower does not lower for me, so the whole thing is now, it is firm, and now when water comes on it, it currently runs over here, and then up to here. And if I now use the adjustment key for this, if I want to change the setting on the Hunter adjustment key here, then I will take this one. Area ARC, simply plug this in here and just feel with this, and the plastic nose that is at the front, somewhere the opening. And when I do that, then turn it here in this opening to the left, and the angle will be adjusted, opened up to a maximum of 360 degrees. And when I turn this to the right in a clockwise direction, the angle is reduced. It is absolutely crucial to carefully make the most appropriate decision when selecting the correct stop. Remains the same, so the part is in. I have checked the tightness. I will now in the next step fill in some soil in this area again. Then very carefully reinsert the grass sods that I had removed, and then I will approximately adjust the 3 sprinklers that I now have once again. I will definitely make the fine adjustment tomorrow morning. then the sprinkler is already in place, and I am done with this little installation. I have now closed this sod for the project for the time being. You can see it still sags a bit. I will add fresh soil then. I have pressurized the system, which is why the heads are now at the top, and in the final and concluding step, I will now gradually proceed. Align the 3 individual sprinklers. Adjusting, that means with this new one, I will first set the angle. As you may already know, it goes through this IARC adjustment key, and in addition to that, furthermore, I will then apply to all 3 at the same time, open the valves so that all 3 at the same time I will run, and then I will do it piece by piece in succession, adjusting the throw distances, as well as setting the spray pattern piece by piece. When you do everything in order. First the one, then the other one, then the third one. Then it is like this. I set the first one for a perfect throwing image. I take the second one into operation, which causes the water pressure down, so now roughly half, because now a second. The sprinkler is in the system, and the image that I set at the first sprinkler, then it simply doesn't add up anymore, let alone when the third one comes in. Network width goes therefore all 3 with water supplied, and then step in adjusting. That is something that, in my experience, does not work either. Is finished in one day, depending on the water pressure, which can fluctuate. I will be very strong during the day, and you will then see the next few days. Installation always follows some improvements that need to be made. Optimize until you have the spray pattern that I really like. I have the sprinkler set up now, approximately how I want it. Set means the sprinkler sprays or irrigates in a radius of approximately up to this white decorative gravel through the pressure at the moment, also a little bit over it. However, due to the fact that the pressure, as mentioned, fluctuates significantly during the day, depending on at that time of day, he wouldn't be able to accomplish everything. It is important that he's still up to here at the edge. To then install this sprinkler that I am putting in new here had also been installed to support. I have been able to significantly turn back these 2 sprinklers. There were previously 4 sprinklers attached with a 2.0 short nozzle that are now spraying. Although somewhat overlooked due to the pressure, it is really true overall. Only the lawn area is left, and that means this entire area will now be at least from 2 sprinklers watered each individual spot in a systematic manner. A large part here in front, even from a total of 3 rains. And that indeed signifies the problems I had in the past, that, especially here where I had this poor soil in which the grass was not growing for me. I absolutely should indeed not have that in the future. I will now just fill in a little more soil up here. Sow a few more grass seeds, roll it all a bit, and then I'm done. Done for today. I hope you enjoyed it. I took a few ideas with me. If you want to tell me something, write it in the comments. If you have questions, write them in the comments. If you have any suggestions for improvement, write them in the comments. I am very happy about that. I will respond to it as soon as possible. Click on subscribe so you don't miss any of my further videos, and until the next time at this point, take care.